Analysts who are here on Journalist Hangout. Let's move straight to our next conversation. In foreign relations, travel advisories are given to protect citizens abroad, but such claims must be credible and balanced. The federal government has refuted a recent advisory issued by the United States Embassy, urging its citizens to exercise caution in Abuja. But the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, noted that Nigeria's security agencies are committed to keeping the country safe. The minister also urged residents to remain calm, maintaining that there is no actionable threat to justify the advisory. I mean, Asuko, let's pick it up from the beginning. I mean, why was Nigeria mentioned? I mean, in the first place, what do you think is responsible for this? So why?
Okay, so according to, I want to use security experts.
Okay.
Nigeria is on the level 3, when it comes to the security threat. And so anytime issues like this happen, things happen, you first look at it, okay, in terms of the US, Nigeria is number 3, level 3. So they decided, okay, fine. Which countries do we have citizens that are prone to, threat? Don't forget the Iran and the Israel issue. America has actually put themselves inside too, one way or the other. So
yes,
so definitely they'll also be looking. And don't forget, they also Iran actually attacked their base in Qatar. So where else do they have interest? Nigeria is one of the places they have interest, and they have citizens here. So normally it is not just only Nigeria. Their alert is for all countries that they have embassies, for their citizens to know where to go to. In Ghana, they also sent the same thing. I was reading that of Ghana, where to go to and where not to go to.
Okay.
So is a security alert to their citizens for them not to go to certain places where they will be attacked. Now, if you are going for official duty, you'll be secured. But when you know that you are going to a club, for instance, nobody is going with you, and then people know that, okay, you are walking there, you might be prone to attacks. Now, another thing is, because of this Iran-Israel war, don't forget that the headquarters of the Shiites is Iran. And FCT, sometimes they usually have these Shiites having demonstrations.
Even though they've been prescribed?
Yes, they've been prescribed in Nigeria. But sometimes they have this demonstration in Abuja. And at the end of the day, it ends up with violence and the police trying to, ward them off and, ward them off, the streets.
Okay.
So the US will be having that intelligence, reports all the time. And though it has not happened this year at all, I've not seen it happening this year. But because we have some element of Shiites who usually do these demonstrations, they will always give that
procession,
their procession. So they will give this advisory that please don't go to certain places.
Okay.
But I can categorically say that FCT is safe for anybody.
Okay. And
thankfully, the federal government came out to say this because it's just a security it's not a major security concern for
so
us.
It's not about Nigeria.
It's not about Nigeria.
It's about their
own
citizens.
And they just to warn their citizens not to go to certain places.
Okay.
But thankfully the FCT the minister came out to say that they are free to go to anywhere.
Absolutely.
Nigeria is safe. And we can also tell Donald Trump and every American citizen Nigeria is safe.
Absolutely.
So they should just calm down.
Tell Donald Trump to calm down. I mean, but the response given by the minister, how will you rate, Nigeria's response to this advisory and correcting the narrative?
Beautiful. Everybody's just doing their job. The minister is expected to say what he said. The American government or American embassy is expected to issue the kind of advisory that they issued.
Okay.
Because like he said, we have to be honest with the fact that Shiites are established in Nigeria. We've had issues with them. In fact, because of this strike in Iran, they demonstrated in Kano,
yes,
in Kano and Katsina. The Shiites demonstrated in Kano and Katsina. And usually, when they demonstrate like that, apart from Kano, Katsina, they usually also come to Abuja. Being the state of government, to do procession and to demonstrate. So, and they know that based on what happened in Iran, and because of the Shiite population that we have in Nigeria, and how strong they are, because they are very strong. Remember that there was a time they had confrontation with government, and almost 400 people died and all that. So it is okay. It is in their place for them to advise their citizens to say, look, we don't know what will happen, but it's possible that Shiites may decide to go to
so they're
protest.
just being proactive.
Yes, to protest, and it could cause problems. So you have to be careful where you go to and all that. But that does not mean that we have security issues in Abuja. Abuja, as far as I know, is one of the safest capitals in the world. So the minister is within his rights or within his official duty to say, look, we don't have any security issues in Abuja, and citizens are free to move anywhere they want to go to. So both of them are doing what they are expected to do.
I mean, the federal government, even though has refuted this claim, apart from refuting this, what else do you think the government needs to do to reassure not just the American citizens, residing in Abuja, also citizens, residents in Abuja, that, hey, things are good, we are safe security-wise? Apart from just saying, oh, things are safe, do you think there's some things that should be put on ground to reassure them that, hey,
well,
you're safe?
You want the police to, begin to do a show of force, around the metropolis, But even at that, you will even be scaring people the more. You'll be scaring, the residents of Abuja. So the best thing is the federal government should keep doing what they know how to do. Keep talking to people, assuring people that things are really calm in the capital. Because if you say you want to start to do show of force, people will know that there's something that is happening.
Okay, you think they could be apprehensive with that?
No, they can't even do that.
You can't do that. Let people walk and do whatever they want to do, in terms of going to their normal duties and all that. It is only when we have those guys having procession, that is when the police will now have to, find a way of trying to ward them up, because they are proscribed in Nigeria. And I think that is where the federal government will has to come out to reassure the U.S. government, as well as other governments. It shouldn't just be only because the U.S. has said, oh, there's an advisory for their citizens. You assure them and tell them that, don't worry, these guys, if at all you are having this notion that, oh, it's the Shiite that you are afraid of. No. Nigeria has proscribed these guys. We don't have anything to do with them. Yeah, we might have, like a relationship with Iran, in terms of other things.
Yes.
But the thing is, in terms of security in Abuja, Abuja is safe. Some people still walk in Abuja in the night. If you go to Abuja at night, it's like daytime. It's like daytime.
So,
I mean, nightlife in Abuja is beautiful.
Oh my God, you don't want to
beautiful.
think about it. So people, the American government, what they are doing is just a duty of care. And I know that it is because of they might analyze their intelligence to know that, okay, this is what might likely happen. Just like Nigeria. Nigeria also do this in other countries. And they also advise citizens, if you go outside, the Nigerian government will advise their citizens, please don't go to certain places. After all, in America recently, there was a shooting in a church. But I'm not sure the Nigerian government actually issued
an advisory,
don't go to certain places. So, but the thing is, they have issued that advisory, but they will have to reassure, the federal government has to keep reassuring and assuring, the American government.
I mean, do you agree with him on that?
Okay.
Absolutely. We don't need to do more than what we've done.
Okay.
What you need to do is to reassure both your citizens and
American,
the U.S. Embassy that the city is safe, the government is on top of things, and there's no need for anybody to be apprehensive or whatever will happen in the city. That's what you need to do. You cannot do show of force or anything.
Exactly.
What you need to do is to reassure the people. And at the level of the cabinet, at the cabinet level, which is the minister, because now the person that is saying this is Minister of Information. It's not just a government official, but the highest government.
Yeah, he's a spokesman of the government.
Yes, so that is what you need to do to reassure everybody concerned that there's no security threat in Abuja and that everybody can.
I mean, even though now that we've established that this advisory is not against Nigeria, but for the residents, U.S. citizens who are residing in Abuja, let's look at it from another, another area now. Nigeria is looking for FDI. Nigeria is looking for investment. Do you think this kind of advisory can hurt Nigeria in terms of investment,
no, not at all.
In terms of tourism, in terms of diplomatic cooperation?
Not at all.
We don't have anything to fear?
You know why? Because U.S. embassies and the State Department, they issue advisory time and time again for different countries. Okay. Based on perceived threat to their citizens. And like I said, because of the Iran-Israel problems, and then the U.S. attacking Iran, they just felt there could be a riot because we have a large population of Shiites in Nigeria. And that they felt there could be procession, that could be, which happened because there was a protest in Kano and Katsina. It's just that they didn't get to Abuja. But then there was protest in Kano. So it was not out of place for them to say, oh, the Shiite population may decide to protest, which they did. Okay. So it is not, that does not make Nigeria less safe. In fact, the advisory, for example, is not a bigger threat than Boko Haram or banditry. So that will not stop people who want to invest in Nigeria to come. That will not stop them.
So we have nothing to fear?
No, nothing, absolutely nothing. I just hope the media too would also help.
Okay, the media, exactly.
Yeah, sometimes, the way we caption things like insecurity in Nigeria, all those things are some of the things that people are outside. I think
journalists, I think we really need to do when it comes to headlines like that.
I was saying something about the killings, the shootings in the church in the U.S. We didn't hear insecurity in the U.S. You understand? It's just a shooting. And it happened.
But why is it that our people do that? Even when the way they cast their headlines, it can be really scary.
The media, we need to also find a way of trying to see how we can also help the country with the way we push this. But we know that there's insecurity.
But you know that the media has changed.
We know.
Now, there are a lot of people, we don't have gatekeepers like we used to have. Before now, there are gatekeepers within the newsroom that make sure that certain things don't get published, that make sure that certain headlines have to be looked at before you cast those headlines. But now, we are in the new media age.
Citizen journalists everywhere.
Everybody wants to make money.
Everybody is a journalist now. Anybody can publish anything.
Bloggers calling themselves journalists.
A magazine. So the standards has been lowered to an extent that things like that will happen, and there's nothing we can do. A lot of people publish. In fact, a lot of people now publish magazines or do online journalism, and they don't even understand the basic tenets of journalism. So we cannot do without things like that. We have to just live with it. That's the new age that we are.
No, we can't just live with it. we need to do some re-engineering.
Because the new journalism, the new age journalism, social media and online journalism, or what the internet has brought, you cannot really regulate it. You understand? That's what I'm saying, that there are a lot of people who just wake up and then start online paper and start publishing and can write anything. You don't even know where the guy is.
Exactly.
So unlike when we have the traditional media, where, like I said, there are different gatekeepers.
Yes.
A reporter just don't bring a story and it gets published.
It must pass through your editor, your associate editor,
sub-editor, you go to that. There are people that cast a line, they will go to it. So there are gatekeepers that make sure that things are done properly.
All right, gentlemen.